there's this person who we've never met before, never seen. He rolls down his window and he yells at my mom to take off this thing she was wearing on her head or go back to her home country. I became scared of being different. And so if you have this one burning desire to create something right now that will make an impact and you truly believe in it, go at it.
Welcome everyone to the first ever Swana event. Today we have our guest speaker, Amin.
Thank you, Arj. Good evening, Santa Cruz, and thank you guys so much for having me today. I'd like to extend my thanks to Mohammed, Aruj, Kaz, and all the ERC interns for making this possible. And thank you guys all today for taking the time out of your day to join us. I love moments like these because they're filled with learning and show us the values of a diverse learning community. My name is Amin Shaykho, and I just turned 22 a few days ago. I'm a Syrian, I'm a Muslim, I am an Arab, and I'm an American. So no, I'm not just a Muslim, or just a Syrian, or just an Arab, or just an American. I'm all four. I celebrate Ramadan and Eid, and on the 4th of July, remember the blessings and opportunities I have being an American. I love Arabic music. Shout out to Nasif Zaytoun and Nancy Ajram. And I love American songs. My favorite food is shawarma, but I could never go wrong with a burger. I see you love it too. I speak both Arabic and English, and I'm constantly immersed in both cultures. I'm a graduate from the University of Washington, Seattle. I've worked at companies like Boeing and Apple, and I have a dream to lead a technology company that changes this world. I'm fortunate enough to say that I have already embarked on this dream through my startup, Kadama, an app that lets users request services like tutoring, housework, errands, and more. As you can see, I have my own unique traits. But what happens if I conformed to just one thing? Like maybe only Arab or just an American? Well then, let's start removing some of the stuff I had just mentioned before. I'm either A, going to have to hide some of those things, or B, miss out on the opportunity to develop those characteristics. We all have multiple attributes that define who we are. And for me, one of the dominant ones is being multicultural. And so, if I had eliminated some of the things who make me who I am, I would lose myself. And I would have to reintroduce myself as just an ordinary 22-year-old. My story starts in the 6th grade. I'll never forget the times when my teachers would be calling names for attendance. Ali Smith, Austin Church, and Amin, is it Shaykho? And I'm like, yes, you nailed it, Miss Gettysburg. Or maybe the times when I get asked, oh, you don't date? So your mom randomly finds you a person to marry, and then I'm like, no, it's not that bad. I still get to choose. In a sense, being different gave me this responsibility to teach others of my culture. However, it also made me vulnerable. I will never forget the time when we were crossing the road in downtown Seattle. I was with my brother, my sister, and my mom, and we were at the light and a car pulls up, and there's this person who we've never met before, never seen. He rolls down his window and he yells at my mom to take off this thing she was wearing on her head or go back to her home country. And this thing was a hijab, something Muslim women get to choose to wear every single day. But little did this man know that our home was actually right across the lake in a city called Redmond, Washington. And so at the moment, I had no idea how to react. That was like the first time I had seen anything of that nature. And my mom just told us to ignore it because he probably has never met a Muslim and his only perception is from the media. And so we never brought up the subject again. And it was kind of the elephant in the room. And unfortunately with me, I never liked to talk about my emotions and feelings. And so I never got to let go. I kept them all to myself, and over time, this turned out to be very harmful for me. I started to distance myself from my culture. I would take in this negative talk I heard about Arabs and Muslims and absorb it like a sponge. And keep in mind, while nothing was actually directed at me, it still made me feel embarrassed. I thought people would treat me differently, especially because in most of my sports teams, in classes, I was one of very few non-white individuals from the community I grew up in. And so as a result, I would follow my own culture traditions at home. When I went in public, I would just try to fit in. I would try to act like everybody else. And I wish this fear had just stopped here with just my identity. Unfortunately, it translated to so many different things in my life. I became scared of being different. Everything unique about me started to feel like a burden. I was a 4.0 student athlete, but I hid the fact I had perfect grades. I was involved with many extracurricular activities, but I hid that. I conformed to what I thought, and keyword thought, people wanted to see. And in the moment, it seemed like a great thing because I was fitting in, I knew everybody, it seemed fine. However, concealing my identity basically fueled this fear of being different and kind of pushed me away from my identity day by day. If you really want to embrace who you are, you must learn, you must observe, and you must understand the cultures around you and the values that you bring in. And so, this is exactly what I started to learn in my junior year of high school. This was the year where I stopped tailoring how I lived to what I thought people wanted to see. This was the year that transformed me and taught me how to embrace my identity. My high school offered us the opportunity to spend 11th and 12th grade pursuing both a high school diploma and college degree at the same time. The thing is, what made Bellevue College so important to me was that it was the first diverse learning community I got to be a part of. Every single person I met was completely different than the next person I was going to meet. Many different things were happening on campus, from student-led events to talks about technology and more. The different ideas, values, people were all intertwined, defining this community. Everything I was witnessing was mesmerizing me. The energy, the collaboration, and the drive everyone had to succeed just pulled me in. And this acclamation I had towards comfort that was literally ripping away my identity and was hindering my potential to grow vanished. I felt like I had stepped into the real world for the first time ever. And so from the moment I stepped into this institution, I was immediately immersed with people from different backgrounds who have gone through their own unique experiences. And every student I met was different in a way, but after I conversed with people, I started to notice how similar our stories were. And so as you can see, my perception of myself and others was drastically changing. And back to the previous point I had just mentioned, as I started to observe this community, I started to learn. And as I started to learn, I began to embrace and see why being unique is important in the values of this diverse community. But it doesn't stop here, because once you became comfortable with who you are, no one can tell you otherwise. The world is yours, and you can tackle anything you set your mind to. And so, this is exactly what I did coming into the senior year of high school. Coming into this year, I began to notice how fast I was changing. There wasn't just one thing that was defining who I was going to become. It was multiple experiences and people that I was meeting across the journey. Some experiences made me really compassionate, and so as a result, I wanted to volunteer and help out. And so I did that. I started volunteering hundreds of hours at organizations like Friends of Youth, Kirkland's Park and Recreation, and Honor Society in hopes of making a difference. At the moment, I really didn't know what I was going to gain from it, but I still gave it my all. Other extracurricular activities, like side projects and internships, were really showing me my interests and love for technology. But the thing is, all these experiences together were starting to put in the puzzle pieces for my dream. I want to become a leader of an organization that uses technology to change this world. And even though I wasn't aware at the very moment, it turned out that I had already started building on my dream. And eventually, by being involved with so many different clubs and organizations, I became interested in starting one on my own. And so I did that. I started Code for Care. We grew this club to over 20 members, and together we focused on using technology to make an impact in our community. Leading this club was essentially my dream at a small scale. In the moment, I would have never guessed that the volunteering I was doing was helping me understand the struggles the underprivileged were facing. And as a result, when I started this club, we built products that perfectly fit their needs. I'm now going to jump to a month after my high school graduation, in summer of 2016. I met up with my friend Marwan, and together we thought of potential business ideas that can make a greater impact on the community where we lived and potentially around the world. We eventually realized that there was a huge need for a platform that makes requesting services easier for consumers and allows those who can't get a conventional job earn money by doing tasks on their own schedule. And so, this turned out to be an app we called Kadama, which stems from the Arabic word khidma, meaning service. But keep in mind, when Marwan and I came together to start this, I was 18 and he was 16. We had no idea how to write a single line of code. We've previously had ideas of creating other things, but because how young we were, everything kind of just vanished. There was no execution and nothing happened. But this time, it was very unique. I'll never forget the time when we were at the parking lot. I saw Marwan, he looked at me back, and we were like, this time, it's gonna happen no matter what. We failed so many times, but this time, even though we have no idea how we're gonna build a company, we're gonna make it happen. And at that moment, I don't know what happened. Like, I felt like my electrons were touching his electrons. It was just, I don't know what I was going, but we felt like something amazing was gonna happen. But the thing is, Marwan and I still had no idea what to do. So what did we do? We decided to enlist Fadi, who was Marwan's father, but Fadi's one of the smartest people I know. He's worked at the biggest tech companies. He started his own things, and so we could really depend on Fadi to mentor us through this journey. But the thing is, Fadi had very high expectations, and me and Marwan, we were no people that would deliver on that. So when we initially pitched him the ideas and the first designs of our app, Fadi just stared at it. He took a step back at the table, and he was like this. These are hideous, take them back. And so, what do you guys do when somebody tells your baby to go back, right? You freak out. And so, Marwan and I went back, we worked on them, we revamped them, we came back to Fadi, and again, he sent us right back home. And we were going back and forth with Fadi until eventually he was like, okay, I'll let these slide. The thing is, in the moment, we thought every single time he was sending us back was because our idea sucked and we just failed. But little did we know that every single time he sent us back, we learned more about what it takes to build a product, and we were creating a better product at the end of the day. And so Fadi helped introduce us to a team of developers that can kind of kickstart our product. We spent our internship money to fund for it, and from there, they started to develop our product. And now you guys would think the journey is pretty much over, they can sit back and relax, the team will build it for them, but no. This was the hardest time of this entire process. We were just two kids trying to lead a company and lead a team of professionals. We drove them crazy so many different times. We had little understanding of the product cycle, barely any management skills. We could never meet these deadlines. In the product, every time we presented something and it went out to get actually created, when it came back to us, it looked nothing like the real thing. And so we were freaking out. We kept hitting so many different failures. And at the same time, we were still students. So I had a midterm on some of the same days we would have meetings. I would have an interview to prep for. And so those moments would literally crush us. Emotionally, we would think that we were gonna fail. We thought we were gonna fail college because we weren't studying enough. We thought we were not gonna be able to create this product. And we thought we were never gonna land those internships. And so moments like those required Marwan and I to sit back and really think about what's going on. And at the end of the day, what would push us to keep on fighting was that we understood that we were constantly pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone. And so what did that mean? It meant we're gonna face a lot of challenges, but we choose to put ourselves in those positions. And so by understanding that we knew at any time we can go back, and just continue living our normal life. But that really inspired us and pushed us to continue fighting through this process. And so something unique about anybody who wants to go out and start something is that they need to learn how to basically assess failures so that they can go and basically make sure that it doesn't happen again. And so Marwan and I, every time we face a problem, we would assess everything. We would do research, we would see what other people did to overcome them, and then we would use that to ensure that the next time we wouldn't face the same problem. And over time, as we started getting more successes than failures, we started to see our project, accelerating and moving forward. But the key thing, what makes a journey so important, are those big failures that you hit. There's a lot of failures I can talk to you guys about, but I just want to talk about one in particular. So I think early on in the process, when we just kind of had an idea, Marwan and I came with this genius idea to offer an investor some portion of our company for $200,000, and we believed that we were going to get that money. And so we schedule a meeting with this investor 6 months in advance. And the time shows up. Marwan and I are so ready to land $200,000. And we see him talking with somebody. So we just wait for him as he finishes the conversation. And we're sitting there and all of a sudden, this investor walks out the door to the left. And so I was standing there like super confused, and Marwan had the reddest face I'd ever seen. I swear I didn't know if he was gonna make it that day. This person that we had scheduled a meeting with 6 months in advance just walked out. And that crushed us because we thought we had something so amazing. But to him, I guess he didn't care. And so we really didn't know how to react. But what did this teach us? This taught us that when you're doing anything, literally be prepared to be slapped like across the journey and just get hit by things you were never expecting. And so this taught us that when a scenario like this happens, what we gotta do is persevere and push forward. We shouldn't dread what was going on. I think we spent a few days just like thinking like, why did he do this? But eventually we realized we're not getting anywhere, but let's just keep on pushing forward. And so, we were learning a lot, and eventually our product was making it to, actual form factor. So it was getting near the end of 2018. I was finishing up my senior year of the university. And at the same time, we had an app that was finally working. June 2018 was when I was supposed to graduate. But at the same time, we ended up scheduling the official launch of our product just 2 days after that. So this went from like the most exciting weekend of my life, I'm about to graduate, to, oh my God, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get this out here? And so we eventually got to release this product. And since then, it's literally just been a roller coaster of ups and downs. Our app has eventually went up to rank top 21 on the App Store. Our app got featured by so many different news articles across, Seattle area. And we ranked top 36 startup by the University of Washington. But most importantly, Marwan and I, 2 kids that had an idea, are now in charge of this product that was actually helping thousands of people in Washington, where we launched it. And this was amazing, and it really humbled us. And as cheesy as it's going to sound, I honestly felt like I was truly living up on my dream. I was leading a company that uses technology to make an impact on this world. But before I end, I want to leave you guys with 3 pieces of advice. I think the most important thing that completely changed who I was understanding to become comfortable with what's uncomfortable. And what do I mean by that? A lot of us are probably, or I was at least, very comfortable in my situation. If I had never stepped out and decided to embark on this program that would put me in this college with people who were like 2 times as old as me, right? If I had never done that, I would have stayed doing what I was doing, concealing my identity. But by stepping out, I started to see what the real world was. I met so many different people, so many different ideas, and I saw the values of different people coming together and creating something awesome. And what this did was it really made me understand why being unique is important and how much of an impact I can make. The second thing, I know a lot of you guys have ideas and a lot of you guys see issues in the world today. I want you guys to really understand that you should never be scared of failing, especially right now. Majority of the people here, you guys are still students. What this means is that the failures you're gonna encounter today are gonna be the smallest failures that you'll ever face in your life. You have people who will pick you right back up if you go down. Your fellow peers, students, teachers, they'll all be with you through all these things. And so if you have this one burning desire to create something right now, that will make an impact and you truly believe in it, go at it. And be smart with it. Continue doing your classes, but make time for it. Because if you fail here, the worst thing that's gonna happen is that it was just something I learned from. And I promise you, in a few years from now, literally as soon as 2 years, you'll be like, wow, that one failure right here taught me so much and it's gonna help you. I promise you will see it. And the final thing is, point number 3, surround yourself by people who will uplift you and have the same vision as you. What do I mean by that? Surround yourself with people that will either emotionally make you feel happier, people who are, that you love hanging out with. This will build who you are and build your character. But you also want to surround yourself with people who have the same vision and mindset as you, people who will help you grow, people who will challenge you. And once you surround yourself with people like those, you will start seeing a difference in yourself. And that being said, I hope I said a few things here and there that added some, wisdom in your guys' lives. And thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.